Yeah, I mean, over the course of both games, for the most part, we played really well, and we're going to focus on that, particularly Saturday. I think after, what was a very emotional, tough loss on Thursday, to see the resiliency of our team to turn around so quickly and play so well against FAU was the thing that really stuck out to me. And, right now my message to the team is, we've won 3 out of our last 4 games. We've beaten really good teams during that time. We had a 7.5-minute span against FIU that cost us the game. We can't allow that to define us. We have to move forward, focus on what we're doing really well, which is a lot right now, and be excited about this week. I mean, this is our last 2-game homestand for the season, which is hard to believe. And we have a huge opportunity in front of us to create some separation. So, again, I think our team is confident right now. I think they understand the things that we're doing well. They know the specific things we need to improve. And, I think when you have a really strong sense of yourself as a team and as a group, that's how you continue to grow and get better, which I think we're doing.
We talked a lot about those mental mistakes. How have you kind of seen that area grow?
I think we are growing. I mean, we still have work to do. But when it comes down to those mental mistakes, I mean, we watch them on film, and they're not fun to watch at all. But I think that's how you grow, and I think the FAU game is an example. We played really well for much of that game. There was a time, end of the third, maybe beginning of the fourth, when FAU put their press on. We had a couple turnovers, and I thought our players really drew on the things that we talked about after the FIU game. We regained our composure, which was huge. We refocused on how we were supposed to execute, and we didn't allow the emotion of the moment to affect us. And I think a lot of our mental mistakes, because we are a young group, is we allow the emotion of the situation, the possession, to affect our ability to execute. And so that's the big thing I've been talking to our players about. Regardless of how we feel, regardless of the pressure, we have to still execute what we practiced. Because when we execute what we practice, we're on the same page, and we have a much higher chance to have success. And I 100% saw that growth from Thursday to Saturday, which was really cool to see.
And then Jada McMillan, she had a career high game last weekend. How have you seen her step up and be a leader this season?
Well, I think, she's our heartbeat. We go as she goes. And, Jada took the loss Thursday as hard as any loss I've seen her take. She was really emotional about it. And, again, I talked at the beginning of this how proud I was of my team for how they, recovered and played well Saturday. Well, that's because Jada did. We go as she goes. And, that's not to take away from anybody else, but she is our leader, and she knows that. And she also knows how hard it is. Being a leader every single day and consistency in that is hard. And I talked to her about it a lot because I feel the same, right? I'm the leader. I have to be consistent in who I am every day. And I think Jada has really taken that to heart, and she knows what she has to be for us down this stretch. And I'm very encouraged with her performance Saturday that she will be.
Coach, Jada had a great game, but also Deja Lawrence. Can you talk about her confidence growing and how that can also be replicated throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I thought Deja was outstanding on Saturday. I mean, literally in the fourth quarter, I ran a play for Deja, I ran a play for Jada, and then I ran a play for Deja and then Jada. I mean, we just kind of rode their backs, and both of them are capable of doing that. And I think, I'm excited, for Deja. I mean, she's had a really great year, obviously. But she's also really grown a lot, which I don't know if everybody can see the way that I see it. She went early on from kind of being an unknown, and then to get everybody's best defense, to get full-fledged denial, to make her touches hard, people being really physical with her. And every time she's in one of those situations, she grows from it. And I think what I love about Deja is you can literally show her something on film and say, hey, you need to do X. And if you do this, you're going to be able to get this shot off, and she'll go out the next day and literally do exactly that. And so I think that's something that separates her and also helps her confidence. Like she's a student of the game. She studies, she watches films, she listens. And, when you do that and then you have success, I think it only grows your confidence.
How important has Jada been just not only on the court, but for the team, where you see the leader doing it, no one else has an excuse to not take plays off and reps off?
Yeah, absolutely. Jada sets the tone for us all the time, and she's been doing that for not just this year. I mean, countless years now for us. We need her to be that for us, especially, I've talked, very transparently about how young and inexperienced, we have become this season. And, those young kids are looking at her. They're looking at her in good moments. They're looking at her in the really tough moments too. And, I think, sometimes that's hard for a 22-year-old kid to feel that burden, but I think Jada understands it and knows how important it is. And because of that, she's been able to lead us through some tough times.
Coach, you host a UTEP team that's been up and down the last 5 games. What are some keys to this game that will allow you to secure a W at home?
So, looking back on our game at their place, we played the game plan really well. It ultimately came down to, a few things which have kind of been our Achilles heel most of the year. We gave up 22 offensive rebounds to them. We had 19 turnovers, which led to 21 points for them, and we fouled them. We gave them 16 points at the free throw line. And we share. I know these stats because we shared it with our team. 58 of their 68 points came from those 3 categories, which I hope then gives our team confidence to know, hey, we're not going to eliminate those things. The way UTEP plays, they're going to turn you over some. The way they crash the offensive rebounds, they're going to get some awards. They're one of the better teams in the league. But if we can eliminate some of those and control some of those, obviously, execute the game plan similarly than we did last time, we have a great opportunity, to win this game. It's not going to be easy. Obviously, UTEP has been playing, had some games where they've played really well. I watched them, upset Middle Tennessee, and they played amazing. They looked really, really good. But we've played really well in the last couple games too.
What are some ways of improving on the offensive rebounding side? Is it more effort? Is it better positioning before the ball goes up?
Yeah, I think our effort has improved tremendously. Like, our kids are really working hard to box out. I think it's now just kind of that feel of, okay, I'm boxing out, but now I got to go get the ball. So it's almost to a detriment to us. It's like we're boxing out so far and so long, the ball is right there, and then somebody from the other team swoops in and gets it. So I think we just have to, just continue to grow so that we have a little bit of a better feel of, like I said, here, it's time to go get the ball at this point. But, UTEP is big. They're physical. The post players are really good. It's going to be a tall task for us.
You said this in the introduction, 2 games at home before hopping back on the road. Is there any added sense of pressure to kind of take care of business here before the homestand?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hope pressure is not the word. I think excitement, opportunity, I hope is the word. I never, want our team to feel pressure because I don't think players execute well when they feel that way. And honestly, I think pressure can really only be applied by yourself. And so I think our mentality just needs to be more so, like I said, excitement, opportunity. We have played really well at home much of the season. Our crowds have been great. We have 2 great promotions this week that we're hoping will really excite our community. And to me, it's a great opportunity, and I think our kids are excited.
Coach, I want to go back to composure for a second. I saw at FAU Saturday, you told the girls right before free throw, composure, and I just kind of saw everybody deep breath and out. How important is that going to be moving forward as we get to the end of February?
Yeah, composure is kind of our key word right now for the team. And, again, I think it's easy for coaches to throw out these words and just expect players to understand what you mean. We took the time to show them clips of what is composure and what is not composure, so that hopefully it was easy for them to really identify what it looks like when we don't have those times of composure. And so now I feel like when I say that word, they know what it means, they know what it looks like, and they can kind of reset themselves back to, I need to execute. Losing composure means you're not executing for whatever reasons those are. All right? Composure means we have to execute, and I think that's probably what you saw them all going to say, okay, I know this word means it's time to execute. Let's refocus on what we're supposed to be doing, and they did that.
We talk about Deja and J-Mac a lot. Talk about some of the role players that have stepped up lately. Your J.C. Busiks, Tamia,
No.
bench. Those role players that have helped make a difference.
Yeah, I think, JC and Mimi, I was really proud of them on Saturday. Both of them had for their standards, probably subpar games on Thursday. We went 0 for whatever from the three-point line, which, hurt us, of course. And then both of them came back really strong on Saturday. Mimi was outstanding, particularly in the first half. I think she scored 13 points overall, and then she played so well in the first half that it really started to open things up for Jay McIndasia because they didn't bring any help off of her after that. And so, that's something that doesn't always get identified by the casual fan. Maybe she's not scoring in the second half, but they're not bringing any help, which means Jay Mac's going to get layup, layup, layup. And so, I think that just speaks for how much she's grown. JC as well. I don't think, statistically her line wasn't the same as Mimi on Saturday, but she played really well. Defensively, rebounding, she had to box out some bigs. She knocked down a big three for us in the first half. And I think it just speaks to the growth that those two, have had now that they're getting experience and they're getting minutes and they're being counted on. I think they've really stepped up to execute how we've needed them to.
Kind of touched on it earlier, too. Two big games at home, two big promotions with Pride Night tomorrow night, and then Play for K on Saturday. Just talk about those two initiatives and what they mean to the program.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we want people to come out and support our team, but we also want to have an impact on the community as well. That's equally important to our program. And so, when we have a promotion, it's not just about, hey, come watch us. We're hosting our first ever Pride Night. And I think, obviously that's important. We want to celebrate, everybody who's maybe different from us or the same as us, whatever that is. And I think giving people a safe space to come and feel welcome is really, really important. So we're looking forward to tomorrow. And then, our Play for K game is an annual tradition that women's basketball consistently does. And, that's been a game through the years where our community has really supported us. We've had some of the best crowds, outside of our Education Day game on our Play for K. And, that day is not, again, just not about us. It's about, raising money for cancer research. It's about providing hope and inspiration for people who are battling, for survivors. It's about more than us. And, so like I said, anytime that we can contribute to the greater good of our community, that's really important to us.